I just hit record. So I've got this paper collection. This is a 6x6 paper pad from My Mind's Eye, and this is called On Trend, and it's one of their new releases, and I just absolutely love it. I fell in love with it at CHA, had to have it. Look at all the gold foil goodness. So I thought what I would do is draw inspiration from this for my layout. And in our last Ustream, I had said that the techniques that I showed you guys would be awesome for a layout. So I had some people ask me to please, please, please do a layout. So this was, just as a recap, this is what we kind of did in the last Ustream. And then what I did was I added some Wink of Stella on these roses and flowers, so it gave them a little bit more depth. And look at how fun that is, and all the sparkle in there. So we're going to just draw inspiration from these flowers today, so you may get some techniques on drawing some new flowers. Look at how gorgeous that is. And then I'm going to use these papers to do my paper collection. Hi you guys, I'm so happy everybody's coming in. Look at this. Look at how gorgeous it is. It's just a fun, very generic pattern, so it's a good paper collection for anything really. I mean, you could even do a few masculine layouts with this. Look at the bling. Who doesn't like some good bling, right? So love My Mind's Eye. See, this would be great for masculine or for cutting out leaves or something. You guys are awesome. Peggy, I'm going to enable links, and I'm going to make you my moderator. Hang on, make moderator, and I'm enabling links right now. Okay, so you should be able to do your thing. Okay, so this is another little, flower motif that's in this collection. Isn't it gorgeous? So I might not be able to draw these exactly the way that they are, but I think if we can kind of get close and do some interesting patterns in the background, we should be able to use these patterns. If we use the same color tones, we should be able to use these same papers to create our layout, embellishment clusters and things like that. So, oh look, this paper collection even came with a piece of chipboard there. So anyway, this, again, for those of you just joining me, this is the On Trend by Jen Allison and My Mind's Eye. It is so gorgeous. It's aquas and peach and gold. Oh, just so luscious. So I'm going to pull out this piece right here, and I'm going to use it as a visual reference. So I'm going to kind of put it over here a little bit so I can kind of draw some interest from it. And you know what I think would be super beautiful with this color combo is navy blue. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? Isn't it gorgeous? So we'll do that. Then I'm also going to use today some, I just pulled out a collection of brushes. These are the ones that are blue handled, or the cheap. They usually get them in a pack, and this one I really have grown quite fond of. This is a #2 liner, and they're made by Plaid, so they're not a super expensive brush set. You can usually get them in a set for around $6 or $7. And then this is the flat #6. So I do use these a lot. They're synthetic, but I do like them. And then these are also synthetic. They're good overall brushes. This is a #14 round, and this is a #10 round. So that gives you some ideas of paint brushes. They're not very expensive either. And then I've got a thing of water over here. Now, I will confess, I'm not really sure where I'm going to go with this layout yet, because I sort of decided to do this and then invited you guys to come play along. So I've pulled some supplies out, but not many. One of the things I want to give you as a tip is that sometimes I have paper collections that I've purchased over time, and I don't necessarily, I'm probably not ever going to use this again. So, but on this paper it has a really nice background that is a plain colored background. So I'm going to use the back side of this. So don't be afraid to take a peek at some of your papers and use the B sides as well. Conserve those papers. I like this. This is a paper by Canvas Core, and I do like it because the stock is really a good thick stock. So it handles a lot of really heavy water. I'm going to just cut the branding strip off the paper real fast. I forgot to do that. So I'm going to use the B side of this to just start playing around with my collection. Now, I also have out a little pencil, and I'm going to place some marks in some strategic places so that that's one of those phone calls. He's going to keep calling too. That's one of my husband's friends, special needs friends that he hangs out with, and he's calling looking for my husband. But like I said, I have to let that phone ring. What else am I looking for up here? I have a pencil. That's what I was going for. Because I want to make a few marks in some strategic places, just so that I don't do all of this fantastic coloring and then cover it all up, because that is typically what I do. And then I made a mini album not too long ago, and this was a photo that I had that was extra. I am going to use that today. I figure since I have so many colors I'm going to use with the watercolor paper, that I could stick with a black and white photo and it would really pop. So I'm just going to kind of sketch where I want my layout to be. And since the girls are kind of looking down, I definitely want my layout to stay at the top. I might have to silence this phone. Hang on, because he's just going to keep calling. So I want this to stay down, you know, like, or I want the photo to be up, and I want to give them something to sort of be looking at. I know they're looking in the basket, but I want to keep that in mind as I'm building out my layout. I don't want to stay towards the bottom, because then they would be looking off the layout. Does that make sense? So this layout's going to be heavily watercolor, you know, me making a lot of scenery around here, so there's not going to be a lot of embellishments involved in this layout. So I'm going to stick to maybe about this area here, because I want to really put the focus back on what I'm doing with the collection. So I'm going to take that ringer volume and turn it all the way off. Now, if my husband needs me, he'll call my cell phone. We'll do it that way. Okay, so we have this here, maybe about right here. I'm going to just kind of lightly mark where my photo is going to be. I can always erase these marks later if they're still showing up, but this will give me a sort of visual reference as to the quadrant that my photo will stay in. And I'm sure I'm going to layer out, but this will give me an idea of where to start drawing. And for my watercolors today, I've decided I just got these awesome watercolor pencils from Prima, and this is the set that is what's this color? This is Scenic Route. So these are the more muted colors, but they have a lot of the same colors in them that are found in the paper collection. As you can see, there's a lot of the nice peachy colors, and also the really nice turquoisey, tealy green colors. So I'm going to pull some of those out. I'm going to avoid the dark rich tones for now. I'm just going to stick with these lighter colors, and hopefully we'll get a different look from what we had last time with our watercolor set. So these pens are rich in vibrant pigment, so we should be able to get some really fun stuff with it. I'm going to start out by taking a look at, I'm going to take my number 10 brush here, and if you notice in the paper collection, I'll try to tilt it where the gold isn't too sparkly, we have the circle flowers that we did last time in the green, and then again in the peach. So we're going to start with our lighter tone first, and we're going to just drop some of those circles on there, and this is the number 9 pencil. And all I'm going to do is take my paper, my water, I've got some clean water over here, and pull my thing out here a little bit. And I'm just going to touch my paintbrush to this pencil. Just grab some pigment straight from the pencil. And I may need a little more water. And as you can see, it's really saturating, and it's putting these splatters on there. I've got a really nice saturation there. See, it's a beautiful, beautiful peachy color. And I'm going to start out with that first. And I'm going to, oh, well, I put a spot there, so I guess we're just going to build one out there. Sometimes you just have to go with it, right? So I'm going to grab some more of that. I don't want to put too many. Like I said, I want to be able to, I really want to see all of these scenes. I want to try and mimic some of these other flowers that I have here too. So now another flower that they have are these little daisies, and those should be easy to do with this brush. So maybe I'll come back over in this direction and build one of those out. So I'm just going to take, this is the number 10 round again, and I'm just going to take at the very tip of the daisy and pull up, and then come at the next level and pull up, and we're only going to do 5 of these, and pull up and tap and pull up, and then tap and pull up, and see how they kind of come together here in the center to make that knot. And I seriously think if I put one here, I probably need to come back over on this side and do another one over here. So let's put another one of these little round ones right here. You guys, this last Ustream that I did was my most popular Ustream ever. I seriously think that you guys really love these watercoloring techniques. So I'm going to try and do a few more of them, you know, throughout the next couple of months. So how fun is that? So simple. Do you think you can do that? Can I zoom in just a bit? I can try. Hold on just a second. Let me try. The problem is we're going to run out of camera view. Hold on. Hang on, is that better? Should I come in a little bit more? Oh, focus. Is that better? Okay, I'm going to try and go on. If it's not enough, then let me know. Okay, so then the next thing I want to do, I don't want to do too much of this peach because I want to introduce these other colors in here as well. So there's a warmer color, so I'm going to try and, it's more, a little bit more of an orange, I think. Let me try, yeah, it's a little more of an orange, but let's try it and see what we like. So again, all I'm going to do is take and wet my brush and just grab the edges of this brush and just dab it on there. Okay, and the next thing is I think I want to do one of these like blobs. That's what I'm going to call it, as a blob. So y'all need me to zoom in more? You need more? Is this good? Okay. So I think I want to do one of those little blobs. So what I'm going to do is, it's just a squiggle. It's that same exact kind of idea as we've been doing with the circles, but it's just a squiggle in 4 petals. And then I'm going to leave the center of it white because that's kind of how the flower is on the motif. And then we'll doodle some doodles in there. Okay, and then if I do one there, I probably want to do one maybe over in here somewhere. Maybe up here at the top. Let's add one right up here at the top. Maybe off over here. Maybe over here. So again, it's going to be here. I'll pull down into this corner so you can really see what I'm doing. We're just going to go squiggle and then squiggle. It's a 4-leaf, so squiggle, squiggle, and then just kind of fill it in, but leave the hole in the center open. Okay. Am I zoomed in tight enough now, or do I need to come down a little bit more? We haven't missed much. I'll show you some of these techniques again because we've got other colors to work with. Okay, so we have one there, one there. They're kind of diagonal from each other, which is good. We've marked where our pencil marks are, so we know we're not going to go into too many areas. So let's do again one more of these with a little bit darker color. And then to create that darker color, we may need to mix a couple of colors together. So let me see. I need, I guess I can use my palette right here. What I'm going to do is just squiggle a little bit of this kind of peachy color here. And then maybe squiggle, you can't really see it, I know, but squiggle a little bit. This is like a, this is number 88. This is a kind of a brown, tan, terracotta color. And then I'm just going to take my water and sort of mix those together on my paintbrush. And it gives me this really nice, rich terracotta color. You could totally do this with your gelatos too. So now let's practice this brush stroke one more time. And maybe do it maybe like right in here. And let's go from the direction of pointing down. No, no, no. Let's do it pointing up. Everything's pointing up. Okay, so all we're going to do is take the tip of our paintbrush. We're going to pull 5 petals. Keep them round if you can at the tip. And you can barely see that, so I may need to come back in with a little more color and a little less. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Does that work? You see? Now let's do some green. So we have this nice aqua color here. Same concept, same exact concept. This time we're going to you know, take the same color. This is this aqua color. This is number 61, and these are the Prima pencils. And we're just going to do a simple little daisy. See, this is our inspiration. We need to do our circles, so we're going to do those first. We'll take circle. Oh, that color. There's not a lot of that color there. I might have to go a little bit darker. Let me see. Let's do the 62. That one's really pale. Let's do the 62. It's a little richer in tone. Okay, so we're going to go circle, circle, circle just around, just like that. Circle, circle, circle. And that's all we're doing is circles, just a bunch of little circles. Maybe put one on this side over here. And then over here, just a touch right here. Okay, and then over here, we need one over here, but this time let's do a different type of flower. Let's do the daisy over here. So we'll do, again, we're just going to take and kind of pull in, and then we're going to, let me think of a way to describe it. You're going to make kind of like a, okay, you're going to touch with the tip and pull forward. Pull towards the center, and then come to the other side, touch with the tip, and pull over to finish off the leaf. Okay, so I'll do that again. Let me rotate it around. You guys close enough? Can you see? You want me to get a little closer here? So you're going to kind of touch at the tip and pull around, touch at the tip and pull down, and then that's going to fill it in. Okay, come around again, touch at the tip, and pull around, touch at the tip, pull around, rotate your paper. Don't forget to rotate your paper. Touch at the tip and pull down, touch at the tip and pull down. And notice I didn't have to add any ink to make that whole flower. Okay, and look at how cute that is. Why is this camera not wanting to focus today? Okay, so we've got that flower there, and we need to do some dots because we have these cute little lines of berries. So let's connect our some of our things here with these little berries. So I'm just going to grab that same color and just flick a couple of dots just straight up and down. We're just going to add, it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, then one over here, and then 1, 2, and then one maybe right in here, and then one over here, one over here. I think it really doesn't matter. You're just going to connect them together anyway. And then maybe let's do the same thing up here. Let's have it come down this way so it sort of feels like everything's connecting. So we're going to go maybe one here with 3, maybe a couple over here, like that. Okay, so we're just putting dots. That's it. Okay, let's come back with another color. Let's get this green, this nice green right here. Do the same thing. Just add a couple of leaves in here now. Just like I taught you guys in the last class, we're just going to take our paintbrush and we're going to pull in a couple of leaves. Okay? And it's so easy to do. All you have to do is, and see, I just flicked like splattered paint all over the place. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It just adds to it. We usually end up splattering anyway, right? Let's add a couple more leaves out this way. Maybe grab a little bit more paint off of here. Pull this out like this. And then we need leaves on these guys right here. Might need a few leaves coming down this way. So again, just using the tip of that brush to create the tip of the leaf. Coming out this way. Need a little more water. If you find that you are forcing the color to leave the brush onto your paper, then you probably need a little more water and a little more pigment. Okay, now you don't have to use these watercolor pencils if you don't want to. We could go back to the same palette that we had the last show and totally do the same thing. If you have gelatos, you could totally do this with gelatos. If you know, so use what I'm going to encourage you to use what you have, because I think sometimes we get so hung up on we have to have that product that we forget sometimes that really a watercolor is a watercolor. You know, use what you have. Now I'm not going to put too many things in here because I want to be able to fill in as I need to, and I'm also thinking it might add a little contrast to just come back with some mulberry flowers and add those as well. So we'll have a little bit of depth. Let me see. Anybody got any questions while I'm doing this? Let's put some leaves going back out this way. I don't even know if y'all can see that. Maybe a couple coming out this way. Now you could also go ahead and do your layout and then add these afterwards instead of beforehand. So, you know, you could definitely do that too. But I'm afraid I'll get stuff all over my paper. Now I'm going to come back with my colored pencils since I'm using those, and we're going to draw in a few details. One is going to be the putting back in the stem for our flowers. And let's see, how do they have, these are going up this way. Okay, let's connect all of this stuff right here to each other. Maybe come back down this way with some leaves going this way, or some stems. Maybe come back out this way and connect these this way. And then maybe one coming out this way. And then as far as this goes, maybe have one coming out this way. Not rocket science here. We're just connecting the dots basically. And I think I might need another leaf right there to kind of break that up a little bit up here. I don't want to get too much stuff, but We need that there. And then maybe something in here. Okay, now let's do the tops on all of our daisies. We're gonna come back with, I think I want a brown. Where's the brown? I put them all up. I have this nice, it's like a nice charcoal color. Let's do the tips of our daisies with this. In the collection, it's really not brown. It's but I don't have a warmer. No, I don't like that. It's too dark. Hold on. Let's go back to our original color. Clean my brush off really well. Let's go back to this color, and this is the peach 09. Let's go back to it, and then we're gonna just put the circle that we did before right here at the tip of our daisy, but we're gonna drag it down just a little bit into this part of the daisy, and we'll blend it together better in just a minute. Again, we're just gonna build this out over the top. Put a little, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of this charcoal here on this one. Or if you want just a richer tone, you can always come back with your watercolor pencils and just do a semicircle here, and then just take your watered brush and just sort of work that pigment in. You guys having fun? Okay, and then we have over here, we've got another one. So I'm going to put a little topper on it. And again, if it's the same color, you can just come in and do a semicircle, back and forth, just semicircle, and then just do your circle like we did to make the roses, and then just drag some of the pigment back up into here, and then just smooth it out. Aren't those pretty? I mean, it looks like a little wildflower thing. These are the Prima, and it's the Scenic Root set. It's this set. Prima Scenic Root. Hi, Beatrice. Ask me later what? I'm watching now. This is the Scenic Root. We got it? Okay. Now, the one thing I really liked about this set was the gold foiling. So let's get this dry, and then let's add some gold foiling to it. You guys up for that? I think it'll be fun. Okay, so we got that question answered. Now, I do, before I start drying everything, I have a little water brush here. So I think what I want to do is kind of get the brush moistened, the tip moistened, but I want to dry it off blot it off on my little napkin over here. And then I'm going to come back and try not to run your hands through this, but I'm going to come back and try and just draw right over the top of some of these pieces, so that it sort of smooths them out a little better. Okay, and just helps to get rid of that chalkiness of the pencil. And you could even drag it onto your other shapes to sort of help blend them in a little better and give them a little bit more interest. Okay, so I'm just taking nothing fancy, just kind of coloring over the lines a little. And with this one, I think I want to add just a touch to the sides of some of these leaves, and then just come back with like this. Okay, See how that gave it a little depth? And we really didn't do anything. You don't have to be an artist to do this. Again, the shadows are going to kind of be towards the bottoms. The light's not going to hit them as much there. And they're probably going to be more concentrated up around the bulb. So I'm going to add a little shadowing there. And all I'm doing is just pushing that color out. And the more water you add to it, the more it blends with the other color that was there. Okay, clear as mud. Clear as mud. So this guy needs a stem. And again, just taking your pencil and just dragging those pencil lines out. And these pigments in these pencils are so, like, it's so concentrated that I seriously think a little small amount goes a long way. And don't worry about where these edges start and stop. We may go back and add some mulberry flowers, but at the very end, when we get done, we can always come in and close them off with a little swirly doos or something like that. So I'm just going to kind of pull these out and just make them a little less harsh. Just soften them up a bit. Okay, I'm looking at the chat. I am not using watercolor paper. I am actually using paper that was, it's scrapbook paper. It was from Canvas Core, and I'm using the B side. I like their paper is really nice. It's really smooth and it's a really nice heavy weight. So I really like it. So I'm using the back side because I probably won't use that pattern. I've used quite a bit of it and I probably won't use it in the future, so it's a good way to use what I have and recycle a bit. So I'm just pushing that color out and swirling it around. Now I kind of feel like I need another flower right here. Just feeling it. Just feeling it needs something. So I'm probably going to draw another one. And since we have some people that are just starting to join us, you guys tell me which flower you want me to show you how to draw. I think I like the daisies right now. I'm really feeling the daisies. It's about, I think it's probably, what, 80 pounds? All right, let's do another one of these daisies. Let me show you how to do it. So all I'm doing is taking my pencil and I am adding a little bit of water. I'm using a number 10 round for those of you just joining us, and just lifting the color directly from the pencil tip. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the tip being these tips of my flowers, and I'm just going to kind of touch and bring up 5 times. Okay, and I need a little more pigment. So I'm going to touch and drag, touch and drag. That's 5. So if you feel like one of them is just not quite what you want, then just drag another one. And then what you do is you just take the same color, and you're going to, since they're so concentrated, if I add the same color and I do a semicircle where all of the petals sort of connect right here, then all I have to do is take a little bit of water and then just do a circle there at the top. Okay? Then I need to pull in my green, but I don't want to do it yet, because if the green goes on next without this drying, this water is going to wick that green up into this color, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to let it sit for just a minute and let it dry out before we add the leaf there. Okay? So now let's move on for just a second, and then we'll come back to some of these flowers in just a minute. I want to add some foiling to this, so I'm going to dry it really well. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm not going to, I'll hold off for you. I forgot to kind of push these around up here. Get that color going. Add a little more right here. And maybe put a little spiral thingy on that. I think, see if I can pick up some of this. Okay, so for the gold foiling, what I've done is I've picked out from my stamp collection, I have some older stamps here. These were Studio G that I found at Michael's, I think. So what I think would be fun is to use some of these to create my foiling. So these were just some, these are Ditto is who makes these. See how cute they are? Can you guys see them? And I'm going to encourage you to just go through your stash, because seriously, you probably have something very similar. But see how these have our little lollipop look to them? So fun. So I'm going to try to avoid using any of the stems. I just want that little piece that's there in the center. So on those. And then I think I want to use maybe one of these and do, just like I said, no stems, just those little pieces. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I have my flitter box here. This is indigo blue, and inside of it, it has all of these. It has these foil, it comes with these foil pots, and then it also comes with this glue. Lamore just posted these in the store, so she has them. You know, check around and see. These come from Indigo Blue. So I'm going to pull this out, and then I also have some gold flakes here. Now those were not Indigo Blue, but you know, these were the ones you can find wherever, craft stores. So I'm just going to take, this is a piece of this foam. I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut just a small section. I don't need a whole lot of this because our flowers are not very big and I don't want to waste it. And everything in this kit can be replaced separately. And then this is the glue. This is a flitter glue. Now the thing about this glue is when you use it on your stamps, you need to make sure that you clean your stamps really well before you, you know, don't leave them sitting out, because it will ruin them. And you want to clean them with soapy water. So see how I pushed a blob of that glue down onto that? No worries. I close this up, and then what I try to do is take a baby wipe and wipe that glue up, because this glue will dry very sticky, so you don't want to clog up anything. So I'm just going to take them with the baby wipe and just wipe it really well. Put that to the side. Then you're going to take your, it also comes with this little spatula, so I'm just going to work that into the foam. Just keep pushing it and pushing it until the foam appears to have slightly discolored than when you started. And a little bit of this glue really truly goes a long way. And I'm just pressing this into the fibers of the foam. Okay? So I'm going to wipe that off really well too. And then I'm going to pay close attention to the pieces that I want. I'm going to start out with these. I want this bigger flower, but I'm not doing it on the stem. I only want that one section of the spiral. And then I'm going to place that in the center of my flower there, pressing it hard. And then I'm going to do it again on the smaller one. Maybe do this one. And again, just be very careful. I'm going to turn it so that if it does happen to lay down on this one that had the glue on it, then it'll be on the same flower and it won't matter. Okay? And then all of my round ones, I'm going to do this with them. So I'm going to do it again. And this glue, it takes a couple of seconds for this glue to dry. But once it's dry, it's really sticky. and it dries fast. But the cool thing about it is if, say, my husband came home and I needed to go deal with something for him, it's always going to be sticky. I don't have to worry about if time gets away from me, and I don't have to worry about adding the foil right away, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so I have one right there. I'll put one more right there. And it kind of goes on a little bit milky, and then it turns clear. Does anybody have any questions? This is a kit by, you've been wanting to try it. This is a kit from Indigo Blue. Okay, I think I have all of my spirals, and since there's no real rush, you know, I can keep working. I think I want to add, okay, take my baby wipe and wipe this really well. Now you definitely want to take this to soapy water as soon as possible. I'm shooting a Ustream right now, so I'm not going to leave. So I'm going to wipe this down really good with my baby wipe. And then I also have a little bit of alcohol. I'm going to just kind of spritz them a little bit with that so that it helps to dissolve that ink. And I'm going to just put them to the side. So now I think I want this flower, and I want it to be gold foiled. So I'm going to just sort of put that on that one and maybe stick it right in the middle of this cluster here. Now remember, don't overdo it because you're going to have gold foil here and here. So don't do too much. It'll, you know, sometimes less is more. So I did one there. Let's do one maybe over here in this spot. And then I've got gold foil there and there. Maybe do one right here, and that'll finish that cluster off. Right there. Now, this daisy, I seriously think I might want to color it in all the way. And I know you guys can't see it. I wonder if I could, I haven't tried this, so I'm gonna see what I can do here. But what if I took a little bit of this glue and then used, what can I use? Maybe the tip of a paintbrush. Where's the paintbrush? Where's one? I threw a paintbrush in the trash earlier today. Let me use the tip of the paintbrush and just put some of that glue on the back end of the paintbrush. And I know you guys can't see it, but I can. So I'm going to try and just kind of paint that glue in on these daisies that I did. Maybe I should just do one and see if I like it before I mess them all up, right? Just go for it. These daisies were hollow. If you had a stamp that was solid, you wouldn't have to go through this. You could just use the solid stamp. I'm just going to do it to the one and see if I like it before I do it to all of them. If you decide to use a paintbrush, I recommend using one that, if you use the brush side, you're probably going to have to toss it after you're done, so use a cheap one. Okay, let's see what happens with that one before we move on and do them all. It might be a globbed up mess. Okay, so next what we're going to do is everywhere that we've added that, we're going to take, and it takes a very small amount of this stuff. You don't need a whole lot. I'm going to take a dry paintbrush and just pick up a piece of this foil, a very small amount of it, and stick it on here and just sort of burnish it in. And then just keep working it in, and everywhere this glue is sticky, this foil is going to stick to it. And it looks like a giant globby mess right now, but it won't with the next step. Okay, so again, just putting this down on all of the spots. I'm avoiding that one because it's not dry yet. It'll turn from milky to clear when it's dry. But see how that just added a little bit of sparkle to our flower design. Okay, look at that. Look at the shimmer goodness. Gold foil goodness. And it's not even done yet. It's going to look so much better when it's done. Then you just take this little scoochy thing and you just kind of burnish all of the clumps up and work that foil in. And then the box that this comes in is a fantastic element for bumping this stuff back into it to be recycled. Look at that. Look at how cute that is. You guys like? It's just a soft touch of gold, you know? Okay. So, let's do it with some of these other areas. And a little teeny tiny bit. I mean, I think one of the biggest mistakes people make with this stuff is that they want to completely cover everything in it. And a little tiny flake would last you a lifetime, to be honest with you. I mean, little tiny pieces of this will last you forever. See, like most people want to do this and they just glump it on there and put it on there really super thick. But there's no need in doing that because as you could see from before, I only used one. Oh, I covered up one of my flowers. I only used a small amount on this one down here, and it had the same effect, and I didn't have all this flyaway stuff that I have now. So you can use this stuff very sparingly. My boo-boos is so close to me down here on the floor that I'm afraid I'm going to roll over with my chair. Okay, so let's take our scoochie and get this off. Now, I don't know what happened here, so I'm just going to scoochie that off. I'm sure it's where that paint was a little, I probably messed up whenever I didn't clean that stamp between each use. So I have a little bit of a boo-boo there, but I'm not even going to worry about it because by the time I'm done decorating this layout, which hopefully sometime today will come together, it will be fine. I'll cover it up. I'll cover the boo-boo. Okay. See how, and you can do this with your finger. Fun stuff, you know? Fun stuff. Okay. Now let's get up here and do this guy. Our spiral. Get a little piece with this paintbrush. Little dab will do ya. You guys liking it? Okay, now let's come back around here and do this side. It's a lot like glitter. It likes to fly all over the place. That's okay. That's still not quite dry yet, so let's just focus on this piece right now. Okay, and then let me see if I can hit it with this guy. Does anybody have any questions? Yay, I'm so glad you're learning something new today. And this is kind of messy because I'm doing this kind of fast, but you know, take your time, clean your stamps off between each stamp so you don't get residue, or use a solid stamp, not one that has a bunch of stems all over it. That would have been a little more genius. But see how sticky that is? My paintbrush was wanting to stick to it. And do a little bit of creative play. You know, play around with the stuff and see if you like it before you invest, you know, do a big project or something. See, like I didn't get that foiling in every spot on this one, but no worries. Like I said, if doesn't look good, just stick a flower on top of it when I decorate my page. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit. And where's my scoochie? Let's come back over here and scoochie up some of this stuff. See, like right there where I got that mess, I can pull it up with the scoochie. Just kind of scrubbing the paper hard and it comes right up. Look at that. Pulled that mess right up. Right here where it's a mess, just rub it really hard with the scoochie. And look, it got it right up, glue and all. So awesome. Okay, pull this over here, burnish this side right here where it's messed up. And it's a nice, delicate watercolor look now, right? And it's not overdone. Right here where we have the mistake, we'll just take this and scrub it really hard and see if we can get it off. And it comes right up. So fun. Right here we have a little bit of a mistake. Gold foiling in a cinch. Look at that. So fun, so pretty. I do want to do a little maintenance here now that I can see what I'm working with. So I think what I'm going to do is take this guy back over here, get a little more of this glue, and stick it in here and finish this off. Let that dry for a second. I know I need to watch my time. If you guys have to leave, you go ahead. This might be a little longer Ustream than what we do at night when everybody's trying to go. But if you need to go, I understand. Again, let's just let this dry a second. These little pops of gold really make it, don't it? Just makes it shine. Love it. Okay, let's scoochie this piece up right here. And then right here as well. The dryer just went off. Look at that. Gorgeous. Okay, let's clean up a little bit, and then let's start building out our layout. That needs to dry for a second more, I think. We'll try. Put a little more of this gold on there. I may just have to cover this one up. This one ain't looking too hot. Oop, wrong one. It just looks like a big blob. Okay. Let's get this table cleaned up just a bit. And anybody got any questions while I'm kind of putting things away a little bit? Just one little snip. This guy needs to get cleaned up. Over there with a little alcohol in him. Now, like I said before, this is the My Mind's Eye on Trend paper collection that we drew inspiration from. And while mine doesn't look exactly like it, the flowers are pretty similar. So if I use this paper, it's going to complement really well. And I do have some big gaps in here, but again, I can come back and add and fill in as I need to after I get my picture on here. I think a lot of times we focus so hard on our background that we forget you're going to end up covering a lot of it up anyway, so don't overdo it, okay? That's my big advice right now. Another thing that I'm seeing on here, well, I don't want to go back and do it. I may come back and add some of these little dots in gold foil. But see these little squiggles and stuff like that? We'll do those at the end after we know that everything is in place like we want it to be. Okay? So everybody fun so far? You liking it? Oh, we got to put our stem back on our flower here. We had to wait on that one, remember? So I'm just going to draw that out and then maybe come back up this way and this way. And then take this water brush here and then just drag some water down on this. And then drag it out this way. Here. And just add, all I'm doing is touching the tip of this, pulling out some of that color. We have to wait for each color to dry or else you'll end up with a lot of wicking, and you don't want wicking. So you will really want this to dry. That's another thing too with watercolor paper. This technique might be a little easier since we're not doing any drawing, simply because watercolor paper is designed to avoid the wicking, and the wick only happens where water is on the paper. So if an area is dry, it won't wick out. In case you guys didn't know that. But I'm not using watercolor. I'm using just a piece of cardstock that was a canvas course scrapbook paper that I'm just using the B side. And it's kind of a nice creamy color. Okay, so let's take, and at this point, let's put all of these. I don't want to put my pencils up yet, but I do want them out of my way. I have a habit of just laying things down and ending up with a big giant mess and not being able to move anything around. And I still want to do these, but I think I might use stamps for those. I think those would be fun. Okay, so there's my inspiration page. And in fact, let's do this. So it just sort of, whoops. I may want to, no, I don't know. I don't want to cut it yet. Let's go back to this paper collection. And this is for those of you who joined us late. This is the paper collection. I think I want this dots, and I like this. We could use this for our title, Today is the Best, or Everything is Awesome. Why don't we do that? Why don't we use this Today is the Best as our title for our layout. It was Easter, and everything is the best at Easter, right? There's chocolate candy everywhere. There's hunting Easter eggs. It's the resurrection. Church services. Everyone's dressed up. Good food everywhere. It is the best. Okay, so we have that, and then we have, let's use the smaller flowers. And maybe some of these confetti dots. Loving this. And then that's it. Let's build from there. Okay, so I'm going to start out. I have 3 different patterns here. See, that guy is going to end up being everywhere. I've got 3 different patterns here, and I've also just had this in my stash for a really long time. This is a felt gate from Prima. Let's see if we can make this thing work. I love the contrast of this, and I thought, well, it's about the size of my photograph. Where did my photograph go? Look at that. Look at how pretty that would be right there. You guys like that as the frame? Use the dots. I love the dots. Aren't they pretty? Okay, so we're going to use, do we need 2 dots though, or should I use, let me see what other kind is in here. I really like that teal color, but I don't know if I want to use 2 sets of dots. What if we use this dot and we replace this dot with this? I like that. Because I want that aqua color. I really like it. You guys like that? Those colors? I think I need a peach too. We need a peach value. Let's see. let's go back this way. We could use the peach dots. We'll do that. Okay. Or those. Ooh, I like those. Okay, so these will be the papers we use for our layering. Okay, and I really, you guys like this gate. I really like how the gate just kind of pops everything up, but I think what I want to do is I'm going to build out some of these layers back here. I'm just laying it out for right now to get a plan going. And see how it started to cover up some of our stuff. So, okay, I really like this gate up on top of my photo, I think. So I'm going to reserve that for last. And then I really like this, but this is the harsher of all of the tones, so it's going to go to the back. So let's just cut random little pieces. I don't even care if they're straight. In fact, to make it better, I'll just grab my Prima tool and we'll just mark them up so they're not straight. It's okay. How are we doing with time? Are you guys okay? Or okay, so we'll put this maybe going this way. Knowing our picture, because see, I've already framed out where our picture is going to go. It's going to cover most of it up, but I can always cut it in half and spread it out a little more. So we have that. I really want this, I think, to be towards the top because it sort of brings in our flower a little more. I'm going to take small pieces of this. I love these gold dots. Oh my goodness, I love them. Love them. Maybe come out like this with this. Might do another one over here, but let's get this in here first before we decide. Let's see. Maybe this one says oh, these say smile, the best is yet to come. Today is the best. I really like that one because it reinforces our title that we chose. So I'm going to pull that piece out and reserve it for my title, which I will probably put down here. Okay, so it says it was said perfect day. Today is the best. Let's take this piece off. Perfect day. Because it's not the whole perfect day. So we'll maintain this for down here. We might have to go grab some washi tapes. And then we'll just take this piece. So it's going to have a lot of this gold foiling and bring it right back up here, over the top of here. Like this. And then we'll finish off with this piece. Sand this guy up. We're going to sand the other things up. Okay. So now we have that. And then my crew just got home, I believe. Let's see. We'll see what we've got when we put the frame back down. Let's see where we're going with this. Okay, so what we can do is we're going to cut some of this, and we'll cut some of this, so we've got a balance of things going on here. Hold on. So let's cut some of this off. Bring some of that green back over to this other side. I'll have it come out like maybe over here. And Then we'll come back over here. Pull this one back over here. Maybe have that come up like that. And then have, where's the green dots? Let's put some more green dots in here. Paper's not wanting to distress. I think because of the foiling in it, it's getting it's grabbing. Okay, so I'm really liking that. It's all different levels. Some are up, some are down, and then we can kind of put this across the bottom, or I guess, and then we'll pull this guy in like that. Maybe cut this guy in half so some of it's peeking out from the bottom as well as the top. A trick for making things look longer than they are.
It took Sam in last book?
Yeah. Did you talk to Lance? He's called 3 times. I'm still recording. My hubby's home. My hubby's home. Okay, so I like that, and then we'll pull this down here, and that'll pull down into there. What do you guys think? And then by the time we get some flowers in here, I think we're good. And then we can take and bring some of this back down here, like washi tape. So I'm going to cut it, because I want it to be a little more perfect. I'm going to cut it with my paper trimmer, because I'm going to make it look like washi tape. See, like going across here. And then we'll put this on top, down here at the bottom. Okay. Alright, let me get everything started to glue down, because it's going to get kind of out of place if I don't. So, let me grab my tape runner here. Actually, let me see if I can find my stapler. Where's my little tiny attacher? I think that'd be easier, wouldn't it? And just kind of staple things in place. This one I might have to glue those down. Let me just put a spot of glue right there and a spot of glue right there. Do we need to cut this in half so it's going across the top too, or let's go under some and over some? Maybe under here a little bit. I like that touch of gold there at the bottom. It just kind of helps bring everything. It says adventure. I like that. Okay, so now we have our little babies. And I like how you can see the you can see these flowers kind of on the inside piece here, like that. Do you guys like? And we'll cover this up with flowers. This transition is kind of awkward, but we'll cover it up with flowers. So let's go ahead and get our gate in place. And this is an old, like I said, Prima piece I've had in my stash for a long time. And when I moved into this new house, I found some of this stuff. You could use a die cut. You could use wood pieces if you had them. I just want to make sure that when I lay this down, I'm covering up right there. Now I see that stapler, but hopefully I won't see it. I could always do a picture a little crooked. It's a shame to waste all of that underneath, but it's okay. All right, so I shared with you guys last time this trick about using chipboard behind your photos so that they've got a complete amount of support. And I'm almost done, guys, for those of you hanging out with me. Let's see here. I can take this, let's see, and this will help get them elevated a little bit. I don't want it to go all the way to the edge because I want to be able to tuck some things in around. So what I'm going to do is add the adhesive here. And then now when I add this, it's elevated up just a little bit. And that, isn't that cool? Okay, let's get some flowers on here before I put my photo down. Let me see. I have my One Hit Wonder stash over here. We like to pull from it first. And I have these vines that were left over from a project I recently did. So they need to get used immediately. So since we have this sort of viney theme going on, let me get my hot glue gun plugged in real quick. Since we have this kind of viney theme going on, we'll just go ahead and use those to build out. And we need flowers. I have a couple of these flowers that are actually, they're rosebuds that I opened up. Let's see, they're these rosebuds. And if you take some water and you just sort of dip them down into there, it loosens the glue and sort of helps them bloom. So these are old Prima flowers, but I know you guys have rosebuds, mulberry rosebuds in your stash. So, and I love the colors because they seem to work with this. Now, because they're fragile because they're wet, so you want to be careful when you open them up. And sometimes I'll take the tip of the paintbrush and just sort of squiggle around. Now in this case, I don't think I want them open all the way. On some of them I want to stay somewhat closed. So I think what I might do is just go ahead and glue. Let's get some of this stuff up here. Or knock that water over. Okay. I don't like how that is up there at the top. It's just a little too chunky, but let me see. Put this down here. I can probably cover it up with something. Get this thing open. And then, let's see here, I've got some other little flowers here. Got these little daisies. I don't like the daisies. We do have a little tag. That might help with some of that up there. There we go. We have some metal pieces that we could definitely work in, but I think they need to be gold because we've got so much gold going on here. And maybe a couple of tickets. We have some white flowers we could definitely work in. What else is in here? Moments that might can get used. Do you guys have stashes like this? I've got buttons in here. Let me pull a button out. Use a button. I have this little butterfly. Let's see. Got some of these little guys. Alright, let's see if we can make it work with what we've got. And then, of course, I've got this, too. So, I've got a giant mess going on over here. Okay, let's get some things glued down. I think my glue gun's working now. So let's glue this guy down first so he doesn't move. It's not quite ready yet. It'll work. Okay. And then we've got our little tag up here. And then, let's go ahead and start building this guy out. Spread these on these vines. This is the Prima Valentine. No, this is the cherry blossoms. The Prima cherry blossoms. But I like how it's sort of leaning down into our watercolor spray. So we'll put that there. Like that. And then maybe put this here. We'll put a fun center there in the center of that. Kind of helps to hide that transition there a little bit. And don't worry about that poking up. We'll fix that in a minute. Maybe put a little spot right there. Oh, I have this little piece of lace. That, ooh, I do like that. Maybe not right now. Let's take this guy and move him into there. And then if we have one that's closed up and we have one that's semi-closed up, maybe we should add one that is open. I mean, one that's totally closed up. Let me see. Here we go. Maybe coming out this way. We'll do something with all these stems in just a second. Yeah, I like that there. Okay, then let's take a couple of these little small roses and stick them in here. This one too. In here. We need something over here, and I think I might. Oh, let's see. Oh, you know what we need? What about a doily? That would kind of help to bring all of that to kind of that center section right there. This is how my Saturdays typically go, guys. I sit here in my room, moving things around, making little layouts. Okay, what if we have this little doily right here? What if we put that there? Where's my scissors? There, that kind of helps to hide that little awkward transition right there. And let's see, we can always put another flower over there. We need to finish building out our little floral sprays. We can always come back this way with this guy just to kind of fill in over there a little bit. I don't want it to get too bulky. We also have this guy that we could work in. Oh, I like that there. And then I also have this little butterfly that we can work in. I like him. We're going to keep him. This was just a piece of ephemera I cut out of a paper collection that was up in my bucket. But I do like how he sort of, maybe put him here, sort of brings it all together. We needed something in here, some sort of flower in here. So I have these. Let's just add another one right there. And pull it down. Or wait, I have this. Oh yes, I like that better. I think I like that better. It's not so bulky. Okay, so we'll add that. A little glue on that. Stick it right there. Can you guys see? Is it getting there? I don't like these. I'm just going to put them back over there. Let me see what else I have up here in this big stash of stuff. Oh, I like that. Do you guys like that? The little lacy doily. Because then I could probably put, let me see. Oh, I do like that there. Let's throw him right there. You know what we need? We need some metal. We need some, let's see. We need some, really like, if I could cut it in half and poke it in right there. Oh, if I folded it over, it would kind of hide that transition a little better right there. Yeah. Let me go over here and see if I have some different flowers. Some more flowers. I don't never have too many flowers. Maybe another one of these. Right there. Yep. I like that. I like how soft this is. I mean, it really is a very tender layout, you know. There's not a whole lot of fuss going on. It's very dainty, very delicate. I gotta get that scoochie out and get that off of there. Maybe put a couple more of these little tiny roses, and we're gonna call the spray part done as soon as I add flower centers to some of these flowers. Let's take our paintbrush and let's just take these and squig them out. And maybe stick it right here. Beautiful. This guy needs to lay down a little better. He's not behaving. We never glued this guy down, did we? Let's put him in. He's hiding that transition up there. We need to do something with this right here. I need some ideas. Where's that other half of that doily I cut in half? Did you see what I did with it? There it goes. What if we did like a double stack doily? That's covering up all of that stuff. We need a flower over there, I guess. Someone give me some ideas. I think we wanted to go with this, didn't we? I did this. I think I'll do that. So it looks like it's just not sticking. Okay, so let's put our, let's just put a spot of glue right there. And then we'll tuck it in like it's branching out from here to come back over here. And then we've got this flower we can put here. And just build our spray out in an L like that. Let's go ahead and twist this up. Because I don't want to put a lot of stuff over there because I don't really, I don't want it too bulky, which I have a tendency to overdo sometimes. So, being aware of that, I just really want a small something there. And you know, maybe change the direction of these a little bit, and put a couple of these softer pieces in there. We're almost done, guys. I just want to piddle. These are old Prima flowers as well. I've had these for a long time. They used to come in bulk. Like, you could buy them in bulk. I bought them at some of their garage sales or whatever they were doing a long time ago. I like how you can still see the gold peekabooing out through there. Look at how pretty that is. It's so dainty and pretty. Okay, so let's add a little bit of gold splatters and let me think. What else do we? Oh, some Winka Stella. Let's grab out some of this Winka Stella. We need to put centers on all of our flowers. So let's put a little sparkle here on some of these little leaves. Not a lot, just subtlety. And then I think we should do some gold splatters. What do you think? Ink splatters. I've got this, let me see what color I have. I have some Hide Swap, Color Shine, and that stuff is seriously gold sparkle. Let's see, where is it? Where's the Hide Swap? Oh, there it is. Let's just tap a little bit of this gold around. Just kind of helps to finish it off a little. Maybe put a couple drops there. And it kind of reinforces those little dots that we have in the paper. Kind of pulling all of that back together. Love it. Love it. And I messed up on this guy. Let's just fill him in with some of this. No one will ever know. Shh, don't tell. This is one of my favorite golds. This is the Hide Swap Color Shine Gold Lame. Okay. Anything else you guys see? We need to put some centers on our flowers. Other than that, I think we're good. Look at how pretty that is. Let's do our bottom down here. What kind of centers do we want? I do have these little knobs. Let's do those because they're gold. Let's put these in the center of our daisies because they're circular and they're gold. I may come back after the, oh, that one was two of them. I might come back after the Ustream is over and pull them all out and put a little dot of glue behind them because they don't like to stick. I live here in Florida and it's a very humid environment, so they don't always want to stick. So, but I like how they add that little bit of sparkle into my flower arrangement too. And maybe do one that's here. And then for this one, do I have another gold one? Maybe I'll get in the bottom of the box. I don't, but what if we did a flower in the center? Like, one of these guys. And painted it gold. See, like I'm going to take the stem off of that, so it's just that. And we'll put it there in the center of that one. And then maybe come back with our, let's do this because we have a little more control of, no, Hide Swap, where is it? Let's just drop a little bit of gold right there. And that. And while we're at it, let's just tap a little gold in here too. Just like everything's been kissed with a little bit of gold. Some of that. What you guys think? Let's do this base down here. We have our piece that we cut for washi tape and our piece that says, where did it go? You guys see where I put it? The piece that says best day. Let's take the other half of that doily. We're going to put it right there. maybe right in here, like that. And then we'll take this and cut a little flag out of it. Put it right there, maybe. This is the best day ever. We'll put that, we should probably put that, we could probably fit that right there. Yes, 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 I like that. Do you guys get excited when you have an idea and it works like I do? This on Pop Dot or whatever. I'll build out a couple of these. I'm getting sloppy. You can tell I'm trying to hurry. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, I like it like nestled right there. Totally. Okay. But I don't want to hide this guy, so I'm going to pull him up. Okay? And that way I've got a base for him to sit on. I can pull that guy out like that and tuck him around. And it needs a little more under here for stability, so what do I have that I can stick under there? I have another one of these little bulbs. I'll just stick that under there because it's pretty thick. Hold on, I need another glue stick. There we go. And of course we have to hit him with a little bit of gold too, because otherwise he looks like he was just placed there. Okay, and somewhere on this desk, did I drop it? I had that piece. Just put a little, I think I'm pretty done. I just, where is the, there it is. Okay, it's not cut straight by any means, so let's do the Prima Distress Toolie on it so it doesn't, it's not so blatantly obvious that it's not straight. And we'll stick it right there. Maybe let's staple it, or do we want to Pop Dot it? Let's see. What else do I have that? Let's put it. It needs a little bit of the orange behind it, doesn't it, to make it pop? Or maybe the, let's see, I have a little bit of this green dot left. Could I do? No. I've got a little bit of this orange left. What if I did like a double flag? Yes. So bear with me. Maybe thin. Let's see. Like this, and did like a double flag. So let's do our little tip. And put this down. Like that. And then we can put that on top. Boom! Oh, it's too, hang on. Today is the best. We'll do that. The flower stuck. Today is the best. And then we'll just cut this off. There you go. There. And call it done. What you guys think? Now, I'll come back in here with these little spots and let's grab out our pencils again and let's do some doodling on there. So like in here, there was, in the paper collection, there's these little marks like this. Maybe come down with the little lines like this. The cool thing is since I'm using the same watercolor pencil, if I don't like the lines I put on there, all I have to do is wet it and it'll go away. So go ahead and do that, and then maybe do a couple, just doodle out a couple of little squiggly marks. Just to show some interest. Maybe come out around here. The doodles, I think, really kind of help everything come to life. I didn't even glue that button down, but he looked good there, so let's put a little spot of glue on him. Where's that pencil? Let's put a couple more down in here, maybe coming out from our branch, and then maybe one over here. This needs the little squiggle thing through it, and maybe come out, what, about right here? See, so the squiggles are sort of sending your eye back around as well. And maybe do some with this lighter blue. What were the other things that were in the paper collection? I think we about got it. I love it. Maybe after looking, maybe we need something in there, but I don't know. I'll keep piddling with it probably all night long. I'll come back in here and doodle something else. But you guys get the idea. Let's do a doodle coming off of here. Isn't it cute? Let me pull the camera back up so you guys can see the whole layout. Pardon the shake, but look. Isn't it cute? We need to put some lace or something up there because that's just not gonna fly with that like that. I think I've got some seam binding that I had colored at some point and never used that I could add to the top. I know this was a long Ustream, but I think it was fun. Did you guys have a good time? Oh, I found, look, in my stash, I found another one of these guys. These guys. Maybe it could come back up this way. Yes. See, this is what happens. I end up saying I'm done. And then I start digging in all these little buckets on my desk. And before you know it, I'm not done. I've added more stuff. A lot more stuff. But I do like how that kind of transitions out. And then now that I'm looking at it, I really don't like how this is kind of knobbed off there at the end. So I'll probably turn that over there. Fun. Today is this. And I do have this twine. I could just tie that up there at the top on that guy. Let's see. If y'all got it. Let's see here. Where's it? Just had me in. Here, we'll just make a little bow. Because this string is so dainty. This is that jute twine. It's so dainty that it won't kind of take away from anything that's going on. We've got kind of a lot going on, and I don't want to take too much away. We've probably been in here, what, 2 hours now? I don't know how much time. But we did this from start to finish with no plan in 2 hours. So, or whatever time is on the clock over there. I don't even know. I haven't even looked. Because we didn't really get started till 1. So we've been in here for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Look at this. Isn't it cool? And it's so sparkly. Let me see if I can turn some of these lights off if the camera will. Can you see all that sparkle? When I get a picture of it, you're going to go like, oh my goodness, that's so cool. Let me see if I can get, oh, we need a little darker there. Hold on. And you know, we can do just like we did the last week or the last time we met. Just come back in with these watercolor pencils and add some details to some of these flowers. You know, make them stand out a little more. And then, you know, just take a water brush and blend them. Look at how pretty that is. I mean, just gorgeous. And again, just like we did last week, only instead of using a black pen, just use the same pencils that you drew with, because they'll be higher concentration because we diluted them down when we painted with them. And it still gives that effect of the outline. And just kind of helps to build in a shadow around all of these elements. That's all you have to do. Super simple. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this Saturday afternoon and evening for some of you. I'm glad I could do one. My international buddies have been asking for a Ustream, for a Saturday Ustream for a while now, so I'm glad I had an opportunity to do it. Saturdays are typically a very busy day for me, as I'm sure it is for most of you guys, so thank you for taking the time to come hang out and see what we're making. Look at how fun! Oh, somebody had margaritas? What in the world? Oh, Helen, hey! I didn't know you snuck in. So just adding details. Tiny details. Told you I'd be a goober before it was over. I have this pot roast that is cooking in there. Oh, it is smelling so yummy right now. I love it. Okay, guys, I'm going to go get some pictures and I'll show you guys. Oh, you know what I need? I need a little touch of this gold right here on my tag. There. There's no paper plate. No paper napkin. I don't want that to drip down on my layout. I wish I had another butterfly. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today and keeping me company on this Saturday. Do you like? You're still drooling over guacamole? I know. Oh, the guacamole we had when we were in LA. Oh, you're right. That was so yummy. Thank you guys. Espresso martinis. How did I didn't get an espresso martini. I'm going to have to put that on my list for next time. Did anybody have that lobster bisque sandwich, that lobster panini from the food truck in front of the building? Oh, I'm still dreaming about that. The Hilton. I had so much fun with you guys today. I'll have to try it because I love my coffee now. And cold coffee with alcohol in it. How could it get any worse, right? So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to stop the recording. If you want to continue to hang out, you can. I'll be here.